Om Namo Narayana Jai Swami Narayan Namaste. Welcome back. We are on chapter 26, a description of the hellish planets. As I mentioned in the last video, this is sort of the hell of Hinduism, but it should not be equated as the same or like the hell in Christianity. There's some overlap, but very different places. Just want to put that reminder out there. We're going to maybe finish this chapter today. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me see how far we get. Let's dive in, starting with verse 16. In his next life, a sinful king or governmental representative who punishes an innocent person or inflicts corporal punishment upon a brahmana is taken by the Yamadutas to the hell named Sukaramukha, where the most powerful assistants of Yamaraja crush him exactly as one crushes sugarcane to squeeze out the juice. The sinful living entity cries very pitiably and faints, just like an innocent man undergoing punishments. This is the result of punishing a faultless person. By the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, low-grade living beings like bugs and mosquitoes suck the blood of human beings and other animals. Such insignificant creatures are unaware that their bites are painful to the human being. However, first-class human beings, brahmanas, kshatriyas, and vaishyas, are developed in consciousness, and therefore they know how painful it is to be killed. A human being endowed with knowledge certainly commits sin if he kills or torments insignificant creatures who have no discrimination. The Supreme Lord punishes such a man by putting him into the hell known as Andhakupa, where he is attacked by all the birds and beasts, reptiles, mosquitoes, lice, worms, flies, and any other creatures he tormented during his life. They attack him from all sides, robbing him of the pleasure of sleep. Unable to rest, he constantly wanders about in the darkness. Thus, his sufferings are just like that of a creature of the lower species. A person is considered no better than a crow if, after receiving some food, he does not divide it among guests, old men and children, but simply eats it himself, or if he eats it without performing the 5 kinds of sacrifice. After death, he is put into the most abominable hell, known as Krimi Bhojana. In that hell is a lake 800,000 miles wide and filled with worms. He becomes a worm in that lake and feeds on the other worms there, who also feed on him. Unless he atones for his actions before his death, such a sinful man remains in the hellish lake for as many years as there are miles in the width of that lake. A person who in the absence of an emergency robs a brahmana, or indeed anyone else, of his gems and gold is put into a hell known as Sandamsha. There his skin is torn and separated by red-hot iron balls and tongs. In this way his entire body is cut into pieces. A man or woman who indulges in sexual intercourse with an unworthy member of the opposite sex is punished after death by the assistance of Yamaraja in the hell known as Taptasirami. There such men and women are beaten with whips. The man is forced to embrace a red-hot iron form of a woman, and the woman is forced to embrace a similar form of a man. Such is the punishment for illicit sex. A person who indulges in sex indiscriminately, even with animals, is taken after death to the hell known as Vajrakantaka Shalmali. In this hell there is a silk cotton tree full of thorns as strong as thunderbolts. The agents of Yamaraja hang the sinful man on that tree and pull him down forcibly so that the thorns very severely tear his body. A person who is born into a responsible family, such as a kshatriya, a member of royalty, or a government servant, but who neglects to execute his prescribed duties according to religious principles, and who thus becomes degraded, falls down at the time of death into the river of hell known as Vaitarani. This river, which is a moat surrounding hell, is full of ferocious aquatic animals. When a sinful man is thrown into the river Vaitarani, the aquatic animals there immediately begin to eat him. But because of his extremely sinful life, he does not leave his body. He constantly remembers his sinful activities and suffers terribly in that river, which is full of stool, urine, pus, blood, hair, nails, bones, marrow, flesh, and fat. The shameless husbands of low-born Shudra women live exactly like animals, and therefore they have no good behavior, cleanliness, or regulated life. After death, such persons are thrown into the hell called Payoda, where they are put into an ocean filled with pus, stool, urine, mucus, saliva, and similar things. Shudras, who could not improve themselves, fall into that ocean and are forced to eat those disgusting things. If in this life a man of higher classes is very fond of taking his pet dogs, mules, or asses into the forest to hunt and kill animals unnecessarily, he is placed after death into the hell known as Pranaroda. There the assistants of Yamaraja make him their targets and pierce him with arrows. A person who in this life is proud of his eminent position and who heedlessly sacrifices animals simply for material prestige is put into the hell called Vishasana after death. There the assistants of Yamaraja kill him after giving him unlimited pain. If a foolish member of the twice-born classes forces his wife to drink his semen out of a lusty desire to keep her under control, he is put after death into the hell known as Lalabhaksha. There he is thrown into a flowing river of semen, which he is forced to drink. In this world, some persons are professional plunderers who set fire to others' houses or administer poison to them. Also, members of the royalty or government officials sometimes plunder mercantile men by forcing them to pay income tax and by other methods. After death, such demons are put into the hell known as Saramayadana. On that planet, there are 720 dogs with teeth as strong as thunderbolts. Under the orders of the agents of Yamaraja, these dogs viciously devour such sinful people. A person who in this life bears false witness or lies while transacting business or giving charity is severely punished after death by the agents of Yamaraja. Such a sinful man is taken to the top of a mountain 800 miles high and thrown headfirst into the hell known as Avisimat. This hell has no shelter and is made of strong stone resembling the waves of water. There is no water there, however, and thus it is called Avisimat, which means waterless. Although the sinful man is repeatedly thrown from the mountain and his body broken to tiny pieces, he still does not die, but continuously suffers chastisement. Any Brahmana or Brahmana's wife who drinks liquor is taken by the agents of Yamaraja to the hell known as Ayapana. This hell also awaits any Kshatriya, Vaishya, or person under a vow who in illusion drinks Somarasa. In Ayapana, the agents of Yamaraja stand on their chests and pour hot melted iron into their mouths. A low-born and abominable person who in this life becomes falsely proud, thinking I am great, and who thus fails to show proper respect to one or more elevated than he by birth, austerity, education, behavior, caste, or spiritual order, is like a dead man even in this lifetime. And after death he is thrown head first into the hell known as Kashadkamdama. There he must suffer great tribulation at the hands of the agents of Yamaraja. There are men and women in this world who sacrifice human beings to Bhadrakali and then eat their victims' flesh. Those who perform such sacrifices are taken after death to the abode of Yamaraja, where their victims, having taken the form of Rakshasas, cut them to pieces with sharpened swords. Just as in this world the man-eaters drink their victims' blood, dancing and singing jubilation, their victims now enjoy drinking the blood of the sacrificers and celebrating in the same way. In this life, some people give shelter to animals and birds that come to them for protection in the village or forest, and after making them believe that they will be protected, such people pierce them with lances or threads, or play with them like toys, giving them great pain. After death, such people are brought by the assistance of Yamaraja to the hell known as Shulaprota, where their bodies are pierced with sharp needle-like lances. They suffer from hunger and thirst, and sharp-beaked birds such as vultures and herons come at them from all sides to tear at their bodies. Tortured and suffering, they can then remember the sinful activities they committed in the past. So we're actually going to pause here. I don't have much more to read, but I just have a few thoughts I want to share and not make this video extremely long. Though I guess I could. We're at the end of Canto 5. I find it really interesting. Well, there's lots of things interesting here, but I find it really interesting how the punishment is equal to what the person did. So, someone who hurt someone in this life is hurt in an equal sort of way. What is also interesting is what punishments are being given out for what actions. That is probably a study in itself of what is going to get you to a hellish place. And remember, in the scheme of reincarnation, you may not, let's say in this lifetime right here, me, Pramanandas Bhagat, here in Portland, Maine, this physical body, I may not reincarnate to a hellish place. I may reincarnate to an animal or a tree, I guess, or another planet, or a deity, or a human. So it's not ensured, like in Christian theology, that you'll go to this hellish place afterwards. You may not. What gets you to this hellish place is listed here. And this list is very, very interesting and worthy of study that I just don't have time for. I'm sure the one all of you picked up on was if a foolish member of the twice-born classes forces his wife to drink his semen out of a lusty desire to keep her under control. So essentially, do you spit or swallow? That's crude, but that's exactly what this is saying. If you force your wife to swallow during the orgasm, there is a place in hell for you, particularly if it is done through force. And I don't want to go into this, but there is a whole world of people who force their wives or lovers or whatever to do things due to some power play. You can just watch pornos and you can see this. This is a thing of human nature. This is a thing that turns a lot of people off the good and not bad sexual intercourse aspect of human life is a sense of power play. I've heard a lot of women complain like their man turns into like something dominating in bed, and they don't like that. They want equality. They want something else. And so there's a place in hell for that. That is very interesting. So much to talk about here that is well worth discussing. But I'm at the end of this video and at the end of my time limit. And the point here is not to discuss hell and sexual activities and other things. I will apologize for being a bit crude. I was trying to watch my words too, but yeah, whatever. So I say thank you. Next time we will finish up Canto 5 and one more video. And until then, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swami Narayan.